The Victorian age had seen machines taking over all kinds of physical tasks. If, Babbage reasoned, machines could carry out physical tasks, why couldn't they do mental work as well? The Industrial Revolution was built on numbers. Developments in civil and industrial engineering relied on accurate calculations. So did navigation. The volume of traffic was building up between Europe and the newly independent America. There were reports of ships running aground because of faulty navigational tables. So Charles Babbage designed a calculating machine and built just this small section. It's set up at the moment to produce a sequence of squares simply by turning a handle. Reading vertically, 9 is 3 squared. 4 squared is 16. 5 squared is 25, and so on. Babbage called it a difference engine because the wheels and shafts added by a technique called the method of differences, which was comparatively easy to mechanize. To avoid printer's errors, the full machine would also print out the answers. Recognizing the national importance of accurate tables, the government put up the money to pay for development. But Babbage never completed his engine, partly because he was a poor manager, but mainly because he'd had a better idea. The difference engine could only do one thing: calculate by the method of differences. How much better, Babbage thought, to build a machine capable of doing many different things. With that single thought, Charles Babbage had hit upon the fundamental concept of the computer 150 years ago.
The machine is revolutionary in many respects. It has much in common with modern digital computers, which is what is quite extraordinary given the time in which it was devised. The mill, which is what we would now call the central processing unit, the place that the machine operated on information, is quite separate from what we would now call memory, what Babbage called the store. The separation of store and mill is a feature of the subsequent electronic developments. Perhaps the most revolutionary feature of the whole machine is the fact that it's programmable. It is a general-purpose programmable machine. And Babbage used punch cards to program the machine.
Babbage planned to use the cards to get his analytical engine, as he called it, to do a limitless number of different computations. Throughout history, machines had been defined in terms of what they did, but Babbage was proposing a machine whose purpose would be up to the user. Babbage left hundreds of drawings of the machine's hardware, its wheels and shafts. But what we know of the software, of how the analytical engine would be used, comes mainly from one of the most romantic figures in the history of the computer. Ada, Countess of Lovelace, was Lord Byron's daughter. Because her published notes on the analytical engine contain detailed programs, Ada has been called the first computer programmer. But despite Ada's help and encouragement, Babbage failed to win backing for his idea. People had understood when he wanted to build a machine to calculate tables, but not this vague, grandiose plan. So Babbage died a disappointed and embittered man. His dream of a general-purpose programmable computer vanished for 100 years.